Afternoon, all. Hope everyone is well. We have obviously Space Commander in the house today, playing this ultimate classic, Transformers Battle to Save the Earth. Before
Cool.
we start,
how you doing, Tej?
all good, mate. All good.
Good.
So, was this game a favourite of yours as a kid? Did you play it to death and every sort of possible sort of scenario, or?
Yeah. It's funny because we my brothers and I, mum and dad got us a Commodore 64, which was great because I still believe of all the 8-bit machines, that was the best one, I think. Had the SID chip, so it had like the most advanced sound of the 8-bit machines. And then suddenly things like the Nintendo Entertainment System started to take off, and the Sega Mega Drive and things like that.
Yeah.
And before you knew it, there were like 16-bit consoles started to come out, and you kind of see other kids playing those, and you think, wow, that'd be cool to have one of those. But because your mum and dad have already spent so much money on a Commodore 64 for you, it wasn't really an option to upgrade at the time, you know.
That's quite a hotly contested subject with regards to how popular the C64 was, because that's claimed. A lot of people argue the case, but it's claimed that it was the most popular and most sold computer of all time. Now, I don't know. So I don't know if you'd actually have to bundle PCs into that. I know they were quite basic back then, but obviously a PC is still going now. But
yeah,
you got. I don't know how they sort of come to that, but apparently the Commodore 64 was the highest selling computer of all time. But I don't know how to quantify that really, whether that's true or not. But
yeah, I don't know if it's true, but I could certainly believe it. I mean, the range of games you could get, there were such cool games. And so this is the cassette that it came on, this game. And look on the spine here, £2.99. You could get a really excellent game for just a few quid. So with your pocket money, you could go to the computer shop and buy a handful of cassettes. And
look. Mr. Space Commander, didn't you checking up on you, making sure you actually are where you say you are? Yeah, we know. I like that. Good. Keep your tabs on him.
So you can get a handful of games, with just your pocket money. And when the other consoles started to come out and they were more advanced and the games became more expensive, then of course that was more reason against why, mum and dad wouldn't want to buy us something more advanced.
Oh yeah, I mean,
a lot of the kids we knew were getting more and more consoles. We just stuck with the Commodore 64. But in fairness, the games on it were great, and I never really felt the need like, oh, I wish I could get, Mario Kart or something like that. I never really felt like the pressure to go, I have to get this, I have to get that. I was quite happy playing on the
As Commodore. A kid, my mum and dad bought me and my brother, my older brother, 2 computers. The first being a Commodore 16.
Oh yeah,
was our first computer, and we played obviously games on that. And I've mentioned that on previous streams where we only got to play it on the living room TV once because my dad thought I was going to ruin his TV.
Okay.
So after that, we were obviously relegated to our bedroom with it to say you can play on the little portable TV upstairs. You're not having that on the main telly anymore. I didn't want you ruining my TV. You're not parents are like then. They used to think everything would break their TV or something.
Little portable black and white TV. Yeah.
Little portable black and white. Yeah, I've still got that in the loft actually. So we had that, and then like I say, they then bought us later on because that one went wrong. That actually crashed and sort of something went wrong with it. So they then got us a Spectrum 128K plus 2 with a cassette built on the side of it.
All right, yeah.
So they bought us one of them, but that was it. That was the 2 computers that my parents got us. But obviously, then I went on to buy my own. I bought myself the Commodore 64 second hand from a friend of my brother's. So I bought that from him second hand. I can't remember what I paid for it. That was a lot of money then, I guess. But obviously, I got a lot of games and stuff with it. So, and then after that, I think I also bought from my brother's other friend, Commodore Amiga.
All right, nice one.
So they were all bought by me. And the consoles too. I obviously went into Woolworths of all places when it was actually here.
Right.
Bought a lot of mine because that was the place to go for toys, games, etc. and whatever. Then, so obviously that was the main store in the town. All Boots, funnily enough, used to be a good place for computers upstairs.
Right.
Yeah, and then there used to be a local store just down the road from me. As you say, the cheap games. You used to go into this store that had a game stall in there. It's all broken down into little sections of different stalls, like a little indoor market type thing.
Right.
In the bins, they'd have all these games for the Commodore 64, the Spectrum, and like you say, there'd be $1.99, $2.99, things like from Mastertronic, US Gold. Them sort of companies were bringing out cheap games for like a couple of quid, and you could get a lot of, as you say, you could get a lot of game for not a lot of money, really. So you could do a pay. I mean, I was on a paper round when I was 13. I was on something like about my first one about £5.50 a week, I think. You could get it. You could for that. You could not pretty much get a couple of games with that, and then that would last you however long, you know. So yeah, as you say, quite cheap. But then when you start getting into the console games, they did start getting a bit expensive. But
yeah, I mean, my friend had Nintendo, and we would go around his house and play Street Fighter 2 on it. And if we were around my place, my mum and dad's place, I should say, we'd play Street Fighter 1 on the Commodore. You know, so I never really felt that pressure, like, oh, I have to get the next console, I have to get the next thing, because we still had games that were sort of related to each other, or there was some crossover there. So we were perfectly happy just playing Street Fighter 1, which again was just a cassette for a couple of quid. You know, it was great value.
Yeah. I mean, the difference is, like I say, you got the cassette there.
Yeah. What's he up to?
But obviously, I was quite lucky. I had the floppy disk drive as well.
Right. Yeah.
Which, I mean, look at the size of them bad boys. I mean, now you're talking there, aren't you? Floppy disk.
Yeah.
And I'm in the process of cataloguing all them and copying them over to the PC because I got an adapter, which I plugged my floppy drive in, fixed that, refitted that sort of thing. I just got to do some soldering on it, put some new capacitors on it again, because obviously that's 38 years old, I think it is. So they do get a little bit, you know. So I've got to do that. I'll probably put a video of me doing that when I get around to doing it.
Cool.
But yeah, so obviously we had floppy disk games and tape. But because I had the Action Replay cartridge that plugs in the back,
right,
used to load it up once on tape, and then once you got to the main menu screen of the game, you used to press a button on the Action Replay, and you used to be able to save the game state as it is at that point to floppy disk.
That's a neat trick.
So then what you then did, as soon as you'd saved it to the floppy disk, you could load it straight from the floppy disk, and that would load a hell of a lot quicker than it did from tape on the disk, and then come straight up to the menu. So you'd have no loading screens. That just go straight up to where you saved it. Yeah, and then you could play it like that. So that was actually save a lot of time. So I think I only ever loaded it, most games up on tape once, done that, saved them to floppy, and then used to load them off the floppy disk instead.
Yeah, I remember just before the old Commodore died a death, bless it, they did bring out a new version called the Commodore 64 GS, which was, or was it GC? It was basically a
games console version.
Yeah, it was a Commodore without the keyboard. It was basically a console. I guess they were trying to compete with like Nintendo and such, Sega, and they had these games cartridges. So whereas when we were buying cassette tapes, discs were available, but we were getting the tapes because we had the data set. The cartridges that you plug in the back of the Commodore were not very, you couldn't find them anywhere. Then when the games console version came out, suddenly there were cartridges everywhere. So we managed to get a few of these just before Commodore went the way of the dodo, you know. And to plug a cartridge in the back and switch it on, and the game is there already. That was quite an eye opener. We weren't used to this. We were used to the cassettes.
Yeah.
But having said that, I still love those old cassette tapes. And I think it was clever that some of the games companies would put a game on the loading screen. So while you're waiting for your main game to load, you could play something while you were waiting, like Space Invaders or something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I remember them. Yeah,
Well,
the hyper loaders used to have as well, didn't you? Turbo loaders, I think they were called.
Yeah, and you'd have some cool music playing while you waited.
But the thing for me as well was when you're a kid and you watch this and it's loading up with obviously all the lines on the screen and what have you, then as it's doing it, that then loads the picture off the front of the game.
Yeah.
And then that's on there and you think, oh, I look amazing. As a kid, you thought that was like the best thing since sliced bread, didn't you? And then until you saw the game and thought, oh, that's not that good graphics all the time. But that was just a lot of it. I mean, I think I've probably said this before, but I think a lot of it with them games, you used to look at the cover art of the game itself. And that used to pretty much put in your head what the game was.
Yeah.
And even though the graphical limitations of the game, in your head, you still knew what the actual game was. So you were visualizing it in your head more than you actually were seeing on the screen, really.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the theater of the imagination.
Yeah. So obviously you don't have to rely on that quite so much now, but the graphics are obviously a lot better, but I think certain games rely too much on the graphics and the gameplay, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, but in here, you have to obviously have the decent gameplay to get people to play it. So, yeah. But we have this wonderful game from back in the day. I believe that is this 1986?
I think it was 86 or 87. I don't know if there's any. I
was 10.
Yeah, I was about that age as well. I can't see. Maybe my eyes are starting to go. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Copyright 1986. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, like you say, as we've discussed, and just for the point of that, I've put on here, I've chosen, because this is a tape version of it.
Yeah.
What I've got, because I haven't transferred it to disc. I will do that once I've refurbed my disc drive. I will do that, though. So that'll load quicker for future reference. But the contentious part of this, as we discussed when we were on the way to obviously Manchester. The wrestling. Yeah, we were on the way to the wrestling convention. Is the characters in it. Because obviously you have Cliff Jumper.
Yep.
Hound. Pipes was the contentious one. Pipes is, that was obviously always brings up a little bit of a contention. Cup. Bumblebee. Blur. Rodimus Prime. So Optimus isn't in the picture. It's Rodimus Prime. It's obviously after the movie. And Hot Rod, who are effectively the same person.
Yeah. Now, this was never a problem for me. I know that a lot.
As a kid, we didn't care. We just thought, don't care. That's the characters we like.
You and I both grew up with the Marvel UK Transformers comic, right?
Very true, yes.
So by this time, the Target 2006 story was already in the comic book.
With the time jumping and obviously two versions of the same person, yeah.
So you had Galvatron already in the comic book interacting with Megatron. In fact, if I remember, he buried Megatron under some rocks.
Megatron and Soundwave, yeah.
Yeah, and Scourge and Cyclonus were like, let's kill him. And Galvatron's like, no, you can't kill him. That's me, you idiot, sort of thing. But yeah, so you had Galvatron and Megatron already interacting. So as a kid, having Hot Rod and Rodimus Prime together at the same time didn't bother me at all. And my brothers either. I do remember hearing some fans sort of complaining about it, and perfectly valid opinion. But I think that's people who didn't have this particular comic. I think if you grew up with the Marvel UK comic, the idea of having these two characters together wouldn't turn a hair on your head. I did find it funny though. In the inlay card, there's actually a typo. They call Rodimus Prime Rodius Prime. There's no M, so Rodius Prime became my nickname for him. Hey, look, it's Rodius.
I mean, that could be along the similar sort of lines with when you look back on a lot of these things and you watch some of these videos about previous games or previous films. Why was this adaptation of it wrong? Why was this? That's because a lot of the time when they're sent actually details from the owner of the property,
Yeah.
they'll say, like, with regards to, did you ever get the Marvel version of the Transformers movie?
The comic book, yeah.
Yes. So obviously in that, a lot of that was different than what it was actually in the movie, because obviously Marvel based theirs on a previous script before they'd actually done some changes.
Yeah.
So they didn't tell Marvel, did they? So
no.
Was it in the memo to this guy who was making this game? Did they say, "Oh, this is the characters," and he just took it from that, made the game, sent it out, finished, and then obviously then the spelling was wrong? I mean, it could have been something simple as that.
It could be, yeah. And as far as I know, the game was in development before the movie came out. So again, Hasbro had obviously said, "This is the new character, Rodimus Prime. We want you to push this character."
Push the new characters, yeah.
So they put him in the game instead of Optimus. And like you say, there's Hot Rod there at the same time, and it's probably that the programmer wasn't told that these were the same characters. He probably just thought, "I've got to get these characters into the game somehow and put them in." Now, you could have had a storyline where Hot Rod at some point turns into Rodimus Prime. But I guess this guy at the time didn't know that, and the film hadn't come out yet, so it hadn't been established yet. So that's how.
Because obviously this game doesn't go into the detail of the Decepticons, so you don't know who the Decepticons are. They're not named. They're just obviously Decepticon characters, jets, whatever.
Yeah,
and that's it. So obviously they ain't gone into that detail. But obviously for the Autobot side, you had, like you say, in the Target 2006, you had what were called the new leaders originally was Galvatron and Ultra Magnus.
Yeah.
Because obviously I've got both of those toys, obviously in my loft, which was when I had them from kid.
Yeah.
So they were called, I think Ultra Magnus was something like City Commander or something like that.
City Commander, yeah.
So, but obviously Galvatron was Decepticon Commander. But obviously, if you hadn't watched the film, you wouldn't have known that, or known the story of how he got to be there. And so obviously when they wrote this game, I mean, I don't know how long it took him to make the game. Obviously, never done it myself on a Commodore, but he probably didn't have all that information to that point to get to this finished game and thought, I've got to get the game out. They want the game out in a time constraint, because licenses being what they are, they probably tell them, say, if you don't have the game out by this, you got to reapply for the license or probably pay an X amount of load more money. So, yeah, there is obviously the three main characters in this, which were the new breed, so to speak, for the new line.
Yeah,
was obviously Cut, Blur, and Hot Rod were the three favourites.
Yeah,
from the movie, and obviously then Rodimus Prime at the end of the movie. But you've still got Popes. I think was he Generation 2?
He was latter half of Generation 1.
Yeah, because obviously Huffer was the original orange truck.
Yeah, he was in the original lineup.
Yeah, so obviously he's G1 original Minibot.
Yeah.
And then obviously then they re-released a lot of them with colour changes, didn't they? And obviously,
yeah, and they modified the molds on some of them as well. So this is where headcanon comes into play. If anyone watching this video is offended by headcanon, then I can only apologize. But here's what you're going to get, because when I was a little boy, Christmas morning 1984, I've told this story on Zazel's channel, Zazel's Clubhouse, and Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse. I had my sort of like my main presents, and then I had some stocking fillers, and there were these two packets that were exactly the same. And I opened them. The second one I opened was the red version of Bumblebee. But the first one I opened was this guy here, Huffer. And I immediately loved it. I had already been collecting Robo Machines, which was the UK name for GoBots, like Machine Robo. GoBots there. Yeah. So I was already collecting those. So to have these guys come along, especially this guy, I was like really into it straight away. I read the tech specs on the back, and I was having a bit of a rough time at school at the time, and I thought, well, this guy sounds like me. So I was really enamored with this character. Then what they did was, after a few years, they re-released those original mini bots, but not only recolored but retooled and made as new characters. Now, I didn't actually have this guy as a kid. I bought this a few years ago, and there's kind of a story as to why. But this is Pipes, and when I was a little kid, I didn't get Pipes because I initially thought that he was just Huffer in blue, because in vehicle mode they look almost identical. So I thought it was just a repaint. What I didn't find out until years later was, in actual fact, Pipes is Huffer backwards. So if you turn Pipes around and lift the head up a bit, you can see his torso, his back is exactly the same as Huffer's torso, and the backs of his legs are the front of Huffer's legs. So it's that the toy is completely reversed.
Yeah.
And because if you look at Huffer's back now, see if I can find this, there's not much space here to put a head. If you're going to take this as a new character, the back of Huffer, and put a face on there, there's not a lot of space. So they gave Pipes, this poor guy, this tiny little stump of a head, because that was the only thing that would fit in this tiny gap on Huffer's back. So then, as the age of the internet sort of took off, and I started finding out about Transformers from other countries, I discovered, so I found some interesting stuff. First of all, the Transformers cartoon, I only remember it being broadcast in the UK, where I grew up, the first couple of series.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have been told that the latest series did air eventually, but as far as I know, I only saw the first couple of series.
I think after the movie, there was a lot of backlash, wasn't there, from the movie?
Yeah,
all these. I mean, you think yourself, all these cartoons in every toy line you can think of, no one really got hurt, no one really died. You know, that was always they got injured, but they were sort of fixed by the next episode, and that was, you know, it was always that sort of case. With obviously the public service announcements at the end of each one, more often than not. And then, obviously, for the movie, within the first 10 minutes of the movie, you lose pretty much all your G1 Autobots, don't you? You think they just wipe a load of them out, and you're thinking everyone's like, I've just killed them all.
You had 2 years of TV episodes where, you had 2 years of TV episodes where where Hasbro and the cartoon company are asking you to invest emotionally in these wonderful characters. And then they're asking you to invest financially by spending your childhood pocket money on the toys. And then it turns out that in the 2 years that we were watching these episodes, behind the scenes, they were developing the movie, and they had already decided before the TV series even got going that they were going to kill off almost all the characters at the start of the movie. Because
so that you could then buy the next line, the next range.
They wanted kids to lose interest in the toys they had and buy more new ones. So yeah, it was very distressing. And Huffer is in the movie. He's seen very briefly, but he's in the start. What I didn't know, so for years before the internet came along, and I grew up and became an adult, I always had it in my mind, oh man, what a shame that, you know, such cool Autobots got killed off. But at least my favorite one still survived, I thought. We didn't see him get killed off in the movie, so I thought he was fine. Years later, I'm like noodling about on the internet, and I discovered that in one of the later episodes, Daniel reads a list of names of Autobots who were killed in the movie, and instead of saying Brawn, he says Huffer. Now at the time, I thought that's got to be a script error. That's got to be wrong, surely. And don't ever mention that on a Transformers forum, because they'll bite your head off and spit it out, man. They don't like that kind of talk. But they said that he'd been killed off, and I thought, well, you didn't see it in the movie. What's this all about? And the more I read about it, it turns out that Hasbro had told the cartoon company, don't use any of the original characters anymore. And the idea was that although you only see a few of the Autobots get killed off at the start of the movie, as far as Hasbro was concerned, all of the characters who didn't return for the later series were killed off. So even if you think, like, you know, oh, Red Alert's my favorite character, or Trax is my favorite character, you don't see them get killed in the movie. Well, from Hasbro's perspective, they're dead and gone, which is quite distressing for a little kid. But there I was as an adult discovering this information. Oh, hello, Baines.
Baines, good to see you, buddy. Hope you're keeping well.
So, I was quite shocked by this. And then there was the episode Carnage in C Minor, I think it is, where you do very, very briefly see Huffer on the screen, sort of after he's supposedly been killed off. And I kind of mentioned this again. Don't ever go on a Transformers forum and mention this stuff because they'll kill you for it. I mentioned this. Yeah, there's a weird scene where he's still alive. Everyone's like, "No, that episode is the worst episode ever. It's full of animation errors, and the whole episode is disregarded by the fan community." It's like, well, who gets to make that decision? You know, can you make that decision for me? That's not right. So anyway, I came up with this theory. So, like I said, this is where the headcanon comes in, because as the internet is growing and you begin to communicate with people in other countries, I found that there were different color variants of Huffer around the world. So I thought, well, you know, no matter what the cartoon says, the fact is that, you know, the toy companies, Hasbro, they're the ones who are like setting the standard, really, because it's their IP, it's their product. And I thought, well, if there's another Huffer somewhere out there in the world, maybe that can be my Huffer, sort of thing. And I saw this I saw an image of a little black and orange Huffer.
Yeah.
And at the time there was no there was no blurb to say who this character was or anything. So I just thought, oh, that's a new version of Huffer, and it was a proper G1 mold. It wasn't like a I wish I had it with me. It's actually in storage from when me and Mr. Space Commander moved to the space station. A lot of my cooler stuff is in storage, unfortunately. But it's exactly the same as this guy, but the blue is orange and the orange is black, and the windows are red, which looks really cool.
Yeah.
So I got that guy, and it came in a set with it also had like a version of Cosmos that was blue, a version of Bumblebee that was white, a version of Powerglide that was white, a version of Treads which was green. And I remember at the time, this was like 2004, I think it was, I had to mail order it from the States. I had to send it for the coupon and send it, you know, through the post office. And it cost quite a lot of money. And I felt at the time, this is a lot of money. I don't want to be spending more than this. But now looking back on it, when you see the price of these things now, I'm kind of thinking, damn, I should have bought 2 or 3 of those box sets, you know?
Yeah.
But then after the fact, after this set had come out, they then started to release information about it because it was done through eHobby, which is in Japan.
Yeah.
So there was no information in English about it. And what they actually said was that these 6 were not like Powerglide and Warpath and Huffer in a new version. These guys were actually, by this time, Hasbro had got the license for GoBots. So what they said was a bunch of GoBots had come from their universe into the Transformers universe and had been reformatted in Transformer bodies. So the black and orange version of this guy is actually Road Ranger from GoBots, this guy.
Yeah.
So I was very pleased to get that figure because it does look so cool. The orange really stands out. The black looks menacing. The red windscreen and everything looks fantastic. And that kind of goes along, although it's a different character, it's Road Ranger, that kind of goes along with Huffer's toughness, because if you, in the comic books, he wasn't killed off. In the comic books, he was there in the later issues. He takes out Snarler with one punch and then beats the hell out of Roadblock, who was like 3 robots in one. You know, so Huffer's a super tough guy.
And then he batters Soundwave about a bit as well when they actually got to communicate with Cybertron. He actually batters him out of the way when he's got to like kill that human with his truck.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
He's like, so he like batters him. So he's not a lot of him, and that's the thing with Brawn was the same. Brawn was got a really strong, conveyed really strong in the comic, but obviously he was a little mini bot. He was the first Transformer I ever got. Actually, was Brawn.
Yeah, so, I think that they gave some of those smaller figures sort of attributes greater than they should have been in a way, because I think they wanted to give kids who perhaps couldn't afford the great big, Metroplex and Scorponok and stuff like that. Say, okay, well, you've got this little character, but he's as strong as a big character, or he's intelligent as a big character, or he's as fast as a big character. I think that's what they were doing.
Well, to get an idea, I think I looked at a previous catalogue, and Transformers like Metroplex were about £25, which equivalent now is about £18-19.
Yeah, it's cheap.
So you think, it's 25 quid. You say that in a lot, but then that was a lot.
Yeah. Especially
that was quite a lot.
Especially when you consider that in the 80s, the UK was in a recession, so you didn't have a lot of disposable income from your parents.
No.
But then, so this is like 2004, and I got Road Ranger, and I love this figure. Like I say, all that set, that entire GoBot set is locked up in storage at the moment. I'm going to get them out one day when I've got like a whole section of the space station, which I'm doing up as like a nerdy room, and I'm going to put them all in there eventually. But so then I had this kind of conflict that, okay, well, this character isn't actually another Huffer, it's a Road Ranger, which I love because I love the Robo Machines, I love the GoBots. I was collecting them before I was collecting Transformers. But then I still felt this need for another Huffer. So as I was reading up about this, I discovered that in a way I had been right about about Pipes being a repainted Huffer, because although the version that was released in the UK and in the States was retooled and in some ways quite different from Huffer, in some countries the Pipes they released was exactly the same as this guy, but in blue, in the Pipes color. And he was released as Pipes, and as people in other countries, the UK, the US, began to discover that in Europe and South America there were these different colored versions of these Transformers available, they kind of created this own kind of mythos around this character, that in fact he was not Pipes, this guy is Pipes. And the fans kind of came up with this idea that the blue Huffer was actually a time and space warped merging of Huffer and Pipes to create a completely new character called Puffer. So this is where the headcanon comes in that I was warning you guys about earlier. I then had this idea, well, for him to become Puffer, for Huffer to become Puffer, he must have been, the time and space warp must have dragged him out of continuity either before or bang on the time that he died. Otherwise he'd be dead. He couldn't merge with Pipes. So I kind of figured the time and space warp scooped him up during Transformers the movie. That's why you don't see him get blown up. You don't see him get killed. In Dark Awakening, when they're on the Autobot Mausoleum, you don't see his body. You see a great big kind of grey generic Transformer. You see Optimus Prime, but you don't see his body. So again, I'm thinking, this could be him being dragged through the time, And then Carnage in C minor, where everyone's saying, no, that's full of errors. That's full of errors. You see Huffer with Brawn, who is also supposedly dead, and they are with a Constructicon. Why are they with a Constructicon? Well, to me, that seems obvious. That Constructicon is Hauler, who was the Autobot Constructicon, right? I know I'm reaching a little bit here, but stay with me. And I figure that this glimpse of Huffer that you see is him being dragged forward through time. And then later in the series, when Pipes is introduced, at some point after that, Huffer and Pipes merged. And that's how you get Puffer. Yeah. So in my headcanon, that's how that works. Now, the funny thing is, as you pointed out in this game, if you have the version of this game on disc, you see all the characters transform.
You do, yes.
When you're loading it on cassette, because cassette
you have to select only one.
You select only one. And as a kid, I always picked Pipes because he was the closest one to Huffer. But as you watch, as he transforms, the first part of his transformation is Pipes' transformation. The cab folds the other way, and it kind of compresses down onto his legs. But then the second half of his transformation is Huffer. He lands on his front.
Which is why, when I loaded this up in preparation for this, I actually chose Pipes to be the one that you see transformed, just so that we can see it.
Cheers, buddy.
Yeah, I know your feelings about Pipes, and I know he's one of your faves. So I thought I chose him because obviously this is the cassette version.
Yeah. So the way I see it, this kind of half Pipes transformation, half Huffer transformation, this is Puffer, in my opinion. So in my headcanon, Huffer lives on as Puffer. And the funny thing is, sorry, go ahead, mate.
Right, before we start the game, Give me the gist of how you think I should handle. Should I spread all the Autobots about the main places, or keep my auto base to dispatch them to wherever I need to? Strategy guide, a la Space Commander.
Well, it's been about 35 years since I last played this game, so
yes, there will be a written exam at the end of the episode. Also,
yeah, it's going to be tricky. But if, as I recall, the Decepticons attack the various places on this map in a specific order because they've got a particular mission they want to carry out. And so what I did as a kid is I would deploy the Autobots to, let's say, Hot Rod, because he's got the most firepower. I would send him to maybe the nuclear plant or the oil platform, because that's one of the places they're going to attack first. And I would spread my Autobots around the map. And then as they attack, what happens is on the map, where it's being attacked, these little green squares will start flashing. So you know that...
They go red. Yeah, they go red.
Right. And if you are looking through the point of view of one of your Autobots, the surround of the screen will start flashing to let you know there's an attack. Yeah, to let you know there's an attack happening somewhere else. And then you need to look at the map to see where. And then either you've already got an Autobot there waiting to fight off the attack, or you can deploy your Autobots to and from these locations to stave off the attacks. Just before the show started, TJ and I were talking about the Autobot base, because your Transformers are not sort of infinitely powerful. They can take damage, they can run out of fuel, and you will need to send them back to the Autobot base occasionally to recharge and come
restock their ammo, because they got limited ammunition. Yeah. If they're damaged, they have to be repaired, and there's no set time shown on there. You have to keep checking their status to see how their repair state is. So obviously that's quite an involved game, but obviously it's quite, how should we say, clunky in the way of you have to keep physically looking at things, status of him, has he repaired yet? And that is a little bit, it takes a bit of getting used to. I mean, I've only had one little go of it before that. I played it for same as you, 30 odd years. So this will be interesting. Well, for me anyway. But obviously this game, like I say, I took the idea of, when I first started this, I'll spread the Autobots about the most common places I think they're going to try and raid first.
Yeah.
What they'd try and take from a zoo, I didn't want to know.
It's a great story. It reminds me of the early comic books, the early Transformers comic book, the Marvel UK one and the American one. If you remember the early episodes of the cartoon,
it's definitely that, Pains. Let me tell you, it's definitely that.
The Autobots had never even heard of Energon cubes. You know, I know later on in the series it became all about finding Energon cubes for power. But in the first few episodes, they hadn't heard of Energon cubes. The Decepticons were attacking like oil platforms and nuclear power plants and taking the energy and converting it into Energon cubes. And if you go back to the original comics as well, the Autobots would sometimes stop at a petrol station to get petrol to fuel up. It wasn't all about Energon. It was about whatever fuel they could get their hands on in order to keep going. And so here you have.
Well, if you think about it, in the early Marvel comics, when they first come to Earth, the Decepticons dismantle a nuclear power station and build Castle Decepticon from it.
Yeah, yeah.
So there was nothing about, I'm now going to take this nuclear energy and fill Energon cubes. That was like, we've got to dismantle this and build a castle with it.
Yeah.
You know, and that was their base, obviously, in the original story, wasn't it? That sort of fortress, or whatever you want to call it, was obviously their base. But obviously that was quite prominent in the comic in various different storylines. But again, like you say, the Energon part was the cartoon version of it, when Soundwave used to make the cubes and they used to fill them up with various fuels, compress them down into Energon, then obviously run away with them. But in the comic, you never had that, as you say.
Yeah. So what you'll see here is the Decepticons attacking various sources of power, but each time it's for a specific purpose. They have a very bizarre plan in mind. And again, some people are complaining about the Rodimus Hot Rod thing, and they'll say, why are the Decepticons doing this? Why are the Decepticons doing that? It's silly. But is it any more silly than having a character like Kremzeek in the cartoon, or Allegra in the cartoon? There was some wacky stuff in the comics and the cartoons. So there's some bonkers stuff in this game, and that suits me just fine.
Well, the whole thing is bonkers, and that's why we liked it as kids.
Exactly.
To be honest. So we're not going to sort of, pull sort of like fights with it. We're just going to say this is the game of the license that we enjoyed as kids, and we'll see how we get on with it. Which obviously, I must give you a pre-warning. I will suck at this, I reckon. So,
well,
let's have
everything the Decepticons need to do to complete their mission. They will eventually do. You can't really stop them. But the 3 main points of the game is to slow them down as much as possible, shoot down as many Decepticons as possible, and mitigate the damage as much as possible. And so eventually your score for like saving the environment and things like that will all it will be a greater victory than their victory. You'll have more points than they do, and that's how you win the game.
Yeah.
So you will get to the end eventually, mate. Don't worry.
Okay. Right. There we go. Let's see if we can get this off. Right. So here we go. We're going to like dispatch the Autobots to the various more places. As you say, Hot Rod is number 8.
Yep.
So I will dispatch him to obviously the oil platform, nuclear power plant, whichever. Maybe put Rodimus at the other one, because obviously he's quite powerful, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And then spread the other Autobots out as we see fit. But cool. Here we go. This is old school Commodore 64. So don't expect it to be a lightning fast game, especially with me playing it. But here we go.
Roll out.
Music, here we go. If you look, that's the theme tune. All right, so if we say Hot Rod, deploy to oil platform, there we go.
He's on his way.
Deploy 7 to nuclear power plant. Deploy 1 to there. Uranium field, what we say, deploy 2 to uranium field. And here comes your favourite. There we go. So when we say deploy 3 pipes, there we go, to shuttle base, and here comes the transformation.
Here we go. So the first bit is Pipe's transformation, and then suddenly it's Huffer's transformation.
He switches over, yes.
Yeah, that is Puffer. So as far as I'm concerned, that's Puffer, and Puffer is alive and well.
Right, so he's gone to the shuttle base, so then we deploy number 4 to, we'll put him at the zoo. Deploy 5 to the dinosaur park. And deploy 6 to the pipeline junction.
6 will be real fast because that's Blur. You see, he gets overtaken already.
Right, so we've got a battle at the oil platform where Hot Rod is. So we say view 8, and here we go for the control pad part. Here we go. That is what you call modern gaming.
There you go. Right, so you've got your target there.
Yeah.
You put your target on that bad guy and shoot him down.
All right, let's have a look. What we got here? I don't seem to be able to move my crosshairs all of a sudden. I could a minute ago.
It's going to be a short live stream if we can't get the crosshairs moving.
We seem to have hit an issue, but we can sort it. Let's have a look. Yeah, the joypad is not working. That's not good. Is it because it's expecting a keyboard? No. Right, so yes, we say viewpoint, oil platform. They probably took it all by now. Yeah, not a good start. The controller isn't working. Oh, you had to add this on there a minute ago as well. Right. Yeah, so that's not good. Not good at all.
Let's pause that. Have you got something else you can use?
That might be.
So you can see a whole bunch of F-15s flying around there, which, as
Yeah.
we know, the Seeker jets. Hey, there we go. All right, now we're rocking and rolling. Now, if you've ever been to Langham Dome in Norfolk, in East Anglia, it's leftover installation from World War II, and you can actually have a go on one of the ACAGs, one of the anti-aircraft guns. But you're firing at like a projection on the wall.
Yeah.
And it's tricky because of, like this game, you have to fire where they're going to be. At the moment, it's fairly easy because they all want to get into this electrical arc here, so you just keep firing at that. But later on in the game, when you're in more of a gunfight sort of thing, you'll notice that you have to shoot where you think they're going to be because it's going to take a couple of seconds for your shot to get there. So it's a bit like being, it's a bit like, being in World War II that way.
Yeah. So obviously I'll send him back to do a restock of his ammo.
Yep.
So if we go status 8, firepower 10, speed endurance 75. Now he's 100% energy again. There you go.
You can use him again. Now your outside is flashing red, so that means there's an attack going on elsewhere.
Yes, that's viewpoint 7. So that's Rodimus. There we go.
Okay.
They've got to go in the top here, haven't they?
Yeah. So what these guys are after here, if I remember correctly, bearing in mind it's been a long time, I think they're after uranium rods.
Yeah.
I think you can get points for slowing them down and for shooting down Decepticons. I think they need at least 1 or maybe 2. It might be 2 uranium rods. If you let them get 3, 4, or 5, your score is going to really suffer. But if you can, reduce the amount that they manage to steal, that's going to increase your score.
I'm just waiting for one to go down the stack to try and get one.
I think they're trying to tease you at the moment. They're trying to draw your fire away. Okay, here comes one.
Oh, I got him, but
that's it. Oh, and the other guy's taking it from him. Oh, he's got away.
That's one he's got then. Wait, we've got to get this guy then.
There you go. You've shot him down. So now they're going to try and pick this one up and carry it away too. That's it.
Oh, he's got it. Hang on. Right, come here.
So this would be a good round to use Hot Rod on, in fact, because of his firepower, he would take out a Decepticon with a single shot.
Yeah, Rodimus doesn't, do he?
No, sadly not.
And he got away as well, I think.
That's all right, mate. As Cup would say, keep at it, TJC, my boy. Helps at hand.
Cool, he just went straight away, didn't he, him? I've got to run out of ammo, I think, in here. Get the bullets over there, help, Rodimus. Come on, move yourself. I've run out of ammo.
Oh, time to head back to base.
Right, so that'll be deploy 7 to base, deploy 8 to nuclear power plant, but I think he's gone now anyway. By the time Hot Rod get there, that'll probably be it.
Hot Rod's pretty fast. He might get there in time to take someone out.
So obviously got view 8. There we go.
There you go.
I've got a pump. You got to try and sort of see where they got to go, ain't you?
Yeah, yeah. The trouble is that the more sort of wildfire you do, the longer it'll take you to catch up with them because of the computer is going to try and fire at every single one of those crosshairs that you've shot.
Yeah. There you go.
That's it.
Right, is that they gone now? They're gone now, aren't they? Right. Oh no, he's come back. No, he's come back.
In.
We got it. Where's he gone? There he's gone. Oh, this ain't clunky at all. There you go.
Right, so they're sending some more to try and pick this rod up.
Oh, run out of bullets.
Oh no!
Right, which one's the quickest? Blur, isn't he?
Blur is the quickest, yeah.
What's his firepower like?
It's not bad, not bad.
Deploy 6 to nuclear power plant. There we go. Get up there, Blur. Come on.
Oh, I think we might be too late. I think they've gone elsewhere. Are they coming or are they going? They're going.
They're disappearing yet. So we go back to the map. What's next?
So you need to get Hot Rod refueled. And
he's Hot Rod's all right, isn't he?
Oh, he's number 8.
Right, Hot Rod is number 8, but he's got to just deploy him to base, isn't he?
Yeah. Okay, so the next place they're going to go is the dinosaur park.
So review 5. Bumblebee, he's got to be weak as hell, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, too late. Okay, so what's happened here is they used the uranium rod to charge up this great big robot dinosaur. The dinosaur is there as a funfair ride. You see the 2 parachutes at the bottom. There are little characters in there that you mustn't hit.
Very much so, Pains, yes.
And again, people are like, oh, there's a mechanical dinosaur. But as far as I was concerned as a kid, that was like, the Transformers are robots in disguise. So I thought, well, that's a Decepticon Dinobot or maybe a Predacon, disguised, is covered in a green kind of outer skin, like a Pretender shell. And they use the uranium to charge him up. Now he's going to head towards the shuttle base, but before we get to the shuttle base, I think they're going to attack the oil platform again. Oh yeah, here it is.
Yes, yeah, so
if you send an Autobot along the road between the dinosaur park and the shuttle base, you can slow the dinosaur down. They will actually encounter the dinosaur along the road, and he can slow them down. But the greater priority right now is the oil platform.
Right. Okay. There we go. Oh, I got a crack on the screen.
Yeah, taking damage. I like the way they took the classic theme tune and they've like extended it, modified it.
Yeah. Does he get far at me or go there? That one's firing at me. Die. Oh, he's a big one, wasn't he? He didn't want to die, that one.
I have heard a theory. Apparently, there's a way that if you send Hot Rod to it's either the pipeline junction or the nuclear plant at the beginning of the game and destroy it yourself, that will actually reduce the amount of energy the Decepticons can have. I've never actually tried that theory out myself, but that's what I've heard can happen.
Map, deploy 8 to base, and then viewpoint 1, which is Cliff Jumper, which he's going to be weak as hell, isn't he, as well?
Okay, so what the Decepticons are after here is a special...
Because they opened the side of this building, didn't they?
Yeah. They're after a special invention of JTech Industries.
Oh, you got me.
Oh. It's very tricky because all the while you're doing this and taking care of these guys, the big dinosaur is getting close to the shuttle base, and you can actually gain a lot of points by slowing him down along the road there. If you shoot at his eyes, it slows him down.
Oh, he's bad. I've got to get rid of him back to auto base. I can't see now. Map, come on, press map. Come on, move. Deploy Cliff Jumper to auto base to get fixed. And then Blur is deploy 6 to JTech if I get there in time. viewpoint 6. They've took it, ain't they?
Yeah, there's a hole in the wall there, so they're already on their way.
Right, so now we need to deploy 8 back to the oil platform. So he's up there ready.
Now the dinosaur will be getting close to the shuttle base now, so we'll
deploy
need to get
5 to S. There we go. We've got 3 already there. So viewpoint 3. Pipes, your 5.
Here's our boy.
Have we got to destroy the dinosaur or what?
Shoot in front of his eyes, and that should slow him down. Okay, so the Decepticons now, why are they destroying the shuttle? Because the shuttle got covered in cosmic dust when it was in space, and that's what they've just collected off the shuttle, is the cosmic dust. So you want to shoot that guy down, hopefully. Yeah, the cosmic dust has fallen off him because you've blown him up. The cosmic dust is now on the ground. So again, they're going to try and swoop down there and pick it up. So this is all part of their crazy master plan.
Oh, he snuck in and got it. I laid a barrage of fire for him and that didn't get him. I've run out of firepower now. Damn it.
It's tricky. You have to. It's tricky to manage all the things. You're kind of like juggling all the time. Okay, they've taken off.
And they're running off now. Right, so what's next?
I think they're going to go for the oil platform again.
Right, so we deploy 3 back to base to refuel.
Pipes. He's Huffer.
Huffer. There you go.
Puffer.
As your pipes got round head, the actual square. Oh, the shuttle base. They're both there. They're still back at the shuttle base.
No, yeah, he's gone.
That was still showing red. What was that showing red for?
Must be a glitch.
Right, so we've got viewpoint 8 hot rod. There we go.
Okay, so here's a tricky thing. While you're trying to take out these guys and slow them down, the Decepticons are taking the laser that they got from the JTech Industries and the cosmic dust they got from the shuttle base to the Andreas Zoo. They're going to put the cosmic dust in the laser so that it will have a very strange effect on one of the animals in the zoo. I love this game. It's completely bonkers.
Die. Oh, you got me. Cool, that was a bit harsh.
Yeah.
He took a lot of hits, he did. Right, so let's have to get him back to auto base soon. Let's have a look. Matt, come on. If that'll let me do it. Look at my score difference. Like, the Decepticons have whooping me. They've doubled my score at the minute. I won't let me go to map either. What's going on here? Come on, sort yourself out.
Oh, we've got a glitch. Here we
go. Right. Deploy 8 to base. Now we've got viewpoint 4 for Cup to see he's at the zoo.
Right.
Oh, they got it.
They've got the laser and the cosmic dust. They've mutated a hippo into a gigantic size.
Can I shoot the laser?
Oh, I'm afraid it's too late. They've already done the damage. They're heading off. Okay, so what you want to do now is have all the Autobots
at the oil platform again.
Yeah, no, at the pipeline junction.
Well, that's flashing oil platform now.
Is it? Oh, sorry. Okay, since I'm at the oil platform. Sorry, it's been a long time.
We'll deploy 6 to the oil platform because he's quicker.
Sorry, it's been a long time since I played it.
I want no excuses. Right, here we go. Let's have a look what we got here. Let's get rid of the one who's going to shoot me first. Oh, he took a lot of hits, that one with the energy thing, didn't he?
Yeah.
So did he?
With the disc version of this game, not only do you get to see all the Transformers, all the Autobots transform instead of just pipes, you also get like an introduction, like it was with a spoken introduction. It was like they were using a voice simulator. You get a spoken introduction, and at the end, when you get your awards, you get a spoken outro as well. Okay, so he'll need to recharge probably, but other than that, all the Autobots need to get to the pipeline junction, because that's where the Decepticons have sent that poor giant hippo. The hippo must wonder what the heck is going on. But this is their nefarious plan all along, is to create a giant hippo to destroy the pipeline junction so that they can get to the oil.
Right. Status of 8 is
100%.
Hot Rod's fully charged again. Lovely. Deploy him now then. Because you can deploy all of them.
Yeah. I think
at the same time, but if you do that and they're not fully repaired, then you're sort of like buggered, aren't you?
Yeah. I think if you press number 9, it sends them all.
That's right, yeah. Very good, yeah. But they should be all fixed, hopefully, and I've got a full complement. Right, so we'll start with Hot Rod, I think. Viewpoint 8, here we go.
Get in there and kick some tailpipe. Okay, so you can see they've already pierced the pipes and the oil is gushing out. So you need to take out as many of these guys as you can who are sucking up the oil. That's it. If you have the Transformers movie soundtrack, that's actually a great album to listen to while you're playing this. The music on the game itself is really good, but if you want something more with more variety, put that album on.
It took a lot of hits. You have to hit him. You have to hit him specifically. Oh, he's off. Hang on. Right, what we got?
Oh.
Right, so what do we need to do next? Viewpoint 6 for you below or something. There we go.
Yeah. So again, if you think this is too goofy, then I would say it's no more goofy than Kremzik or Allegra in the cartoons. Or what was that character in the comic book? I think it was called Circuit Breaker or something like that.
Circuit Breaker was obviously, yeah, that was the woman who put the electro, what's the name, around her.
Yeah.
But she actually could charge things. She like battered all of them, didn't she?
Yeah. Okay, so the poor hippo now, he's accidentally crushed through the other pipes. There's more oil coming out now.
Oh, he's up this end now. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
Get this one. He's got to shoot at me. Well, that one's gone down there. Cheater! Yeah. What's that about? Hiding behind a big hippo.
Those sneaky Decepticons.
The hippo's drinking the oil, I think. Well, look at that. What's that about? They're getting it and I can't shoot him. Look. He's hiding behind the hippo. Look.
Those Decepticons, they
I run out of bullets. Damn it. Right, viewpoint. Who else we got? Viewpoint 4. Who else we got?
That's it. Keep at it.
We've got to run out of bullets soon, I think.
Well, your score is increasing, even though we're quite a way behind the Decepticons, sadly. Your score is increasing at the moment, so you're doing a good job.
Of course I am. You're being nice now. Oh, well, that bullets. Damn it. Right, Matt, where else we got? Right, viewpoint 3. We use pipes.
Oh, yeah, we got that guy. I thought the jets looked pretty cool. You know, you got that white one there, looks quite like a ramjet. At some point there's a dark red one, looks like thrust. You also got
got that bullets.
Oh, you also got some other colours in there. Look at a nice mint green one.
Who else didn't we use? Cliff jumper. Haven't used him yet, have we?
No.
Are they running away now?
I think they're running away.
Right, if that's the case, let's go there then. Deploy 9 to base. I mean, I still go on red, but I think that might be a glitch because they run off. What else we got? What's below like at the minute? Status 6.
100%.
NG100, he's fully, there we go. I'll throw him into action then. Deploy 6 to Pipeline Junction. Very strange mechanics pains, yeah. Here we go, they're back again now. Here they're hiding behind the hippo again.
It's another raid.
The hippo's protecting that one. What am I meant to do here?
I guess concentrate on the other one.
The hippo's drinking the oil. That's not good for you. Let's see if we got. Just trying to suss out their sort of like flight path.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if you flew that erratically in real life, you'd soon crash.
Yeah. Right, go on then. How are you?
Yeah. Let's use some of Hot Rod's firepower. Hot Rod's covered in guns. He's got 3 on each arm, so that's 6. Plus his 2 pistols, that's 8. And in the movie, he shoots them out. Does he shoot them out of his eyes as well? I might have dreamt that.
No, he didn't shoot. That's Unicorn shoots him out of his eyes.
Right. But yeah, there's at least 8 guns on that guy, so it stands to reason that he's got such high firepower.
Right, come on. Where are you going? There we go. Oh, run out bullets. Damn it. Deploy 8 to base. Deploy 6 to base. Then we deploy 7. Pipeline Junction. Right, are they coming back? It certainly looks like it. Yeah. There we go.
Yep, here they come.
Ain't worried about that. Which one's glowing? He's got to fight me in a minute.
Yeah, the ones that glow, it always looks to me like they're sort of building up to detonation, like they're going to blow themselves.
Well, they throw themselves at you, don't they?
Yeah, they try and take you with them.
They're like kamikaze Decepticons.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird strategy, isn't it? I loved this game as a kid, and now watching it, even though as an adult you can see it's quite wacky and bizarre, but I get
Why can't I take the hippo out? No, see, this spoiled my fun here, isn't it?
You mustn't hurt the hippo. It's not his fault.
I'm sorry, but he's getting a bullet as well. I'm not having this. He's drinking all my oil, and his score's going up while he's drinking, and I can't shoot him in the face. So that's not fair, is it?
Yeah, I'll get.
Oh, he's run out of bullets. Damn it!
Oh no! Yeah, it's very nostalgic for me. Seeing this game again.
Deploy 7 to base. Deploy 8 to Pipeline Junction. Deploy 6. Pattern 6. What the hell's that?
Weird. I don't remember that.
Right, deploy 6 to Pipeline Junction. Deploy 8 Pipeline Junction. Viewpoint 6. There's no way you got through my barrage then without. There you go.
There you go. You got them. Oh,
well, they must be running away now because they've got to transform, then sodded off. Very true, Pains. Agree with that.
Oh, are they coming back?
Probably.
Man, they just won't let it go, will they? Talk about on the grudge.
Deploy 9 to Pipeline Junction. Get the rest up here.
Call in the boys.
Viewpoint 8.
So this big battle here, this is like the end game, really. And as a kid, these are the kind of games I was used to when I was growing up, where once you figured it out, sometimes it was a bit of a puzzle to figure out the gameplay, but once you figured it out, you could play the game and complete it within like an hour or two. So to me, it's quite mind-boggling the games they have nowadays, where you can literally play the same game for months. You can save where you're up to and carry on playing, a couple of months later. For me, when I think of a video game, it's this sort of thing.
You can see the robot behind it because that's showing you when you're hitting it because the graphics hitting the body. But the hippo's protecting it, so you can't get it. And he's run out of bullets. Damn it! Right, viewpoint 7. Are you run out of bullets too? You have to go back to the map screen, which is quite clunky as well, to move someone.
Yeah, it's
deploy 7 base.
With the version of this game on disc. Every time you deploy anyone anywhere, you get a transformation animation as well, which is cool to look at. But again, it slows the game down. And all the while it's keeping, it's slowing you down. The Decepticons are still busy raiding all these fuel sources.
Yeah.
So in that way, I think the tape is a better option. But the disc version, you do get the cool intro and outro.
Yeah. I'm guessing, judging by the amount of a score they got above me, they're going to lose this game here.
Well, we should still get something, mate. Don't worry.
Good kick in the teeth, probably. I don't know about it. See, they should give you something where you can blow the pipe up at least, and You deserve a hint. Select hint 1 to 7. Oh, I think I need more than that. Right, let's have a look. Pick a number between 1 and 7. Base Command, what we got?
4.
4. Shoot front of dinosaur's eyes. F1 to play again.
Oh, I already knew that. There we go.
That is a hell of a game.
It is a bit of a rum game, isn't it?
Just a bit, yeah. I mean, like I say, because you got the deploying your people to like various different places. Deploy 6 to Dinosaur Park. Deploy 5 to JTech Industries.
So last night when I there's my boy. So last night
There he is.
As I was digging out the old cassette to have a look at it and remind myself of the game, a little piece of paper fell out. Piece of paper from 35 years ago, got dust on it. And you can see where young Space Commander, little Spacey, had written down some of his awards that he had achieved playing this game. Because it's possible, believe it or not, to come out with a positive score rather than a negative one.
Okay, rub it in, wouldn't you? Rub it in. Come on.
Well, I used to play it a lot, though. So I got Honored Autobot, first and second class, Energy Conservation Award, first class, Battle Victory Star Award, and Robotic Achievement Award. So
I got the achievement of losing. Does that count?
You're a winner in my book, mate. You're always a winner in my book.
Well, I got to admit. Let's pause that a sec. Right. That I like the tune, like you say, what they've done with the tune. That was, and obviously with the Commodore being really good for the music, obviously in the background because it always was. With the SID chip, as you say. Yeah, that was it's definitely a game and a half. So, as like you say, you've played it a good few times, as you say. So you know the order of the story, which way it's going to go, which one they're going to attack first, which ones are the more powerful because you suss that out as you go.
Yeah.
And then obviously, you know, you're going to get someone like Bumblebee or Cliff Jumper, and they're not going to be very powerful because they never were. And obviously,
yeah.
Although Cliff Jumper tried to take Megatron on in the early sort of cartoon and then missed, but we won't go into that. Yeah, that's it's good. That's a good sort of strategy thing. You got to suss out who's best for what part, and
yeah, it's kind of like a puzzle. And once you've figured out the pieces, it's much easier to play it, and you get you're more inclined to get a higher score.
Yeah, because you get. I suppose if you do certain achievements, you get like a certain gift from something to more energy or something like that, or
yeah.
Yeah.
So it takes a bit of doing, but the more you play it, that's the thing. You've got to try not to be put off on your first go, because if you do, you'll just
no. I mean, that's something like you say. You just got to spend the time with it. That's just you got to just figure out who's best for what, and then like you said, Hot Rod having more firepower than Rodimus Prime is a little bit.
He don't got the touch
because actually in the comic, Rodimus Prime was powerful in his own right anyway, but he obviously had a big gun.
Yeah.
Which obviously you'd expect for the leader of the Autobots to have a decent weapon. But he still could use his arm electric cannons as well.
Yeah.
So he still had the use of them as well, even after obviously transforming into Rodimus. But I think he used them against Galvatron a couple of times. But yeah, that's definitely one to while around a many few hours away with. Because trying to suss out which part is, and like you say, you get to know the order which they're going to go, like all platform, then nuclear power plant, then they got to go to the dinosaur park with the obviously the nuclear rods that they took obviously into the dinosaur and make him walk to the shuttle base. And like you say, obviously you get to suss that out once you played it about 500 times, and then you'd probably be all right. But yeah, that's I do bring you back to them sort of games where. Yeah, the Commodore had some belt and shoot 'em ups and stuff which at the time were really good and not very easy either. But obviously, this sort of game as well was a bit more strategy based. Obviously, yeah, that was pretty good. I got to say, I did bring a lot back memories about that. Really,
Can you
that sort of game.
Can you do us a favour and switch to view screen 2 for a second?
View screen 2?
Yeah, the uranium field. Because it's interesting. Some versions of this game, it doesn't say uranium field; it says Governor's Mansion instead. I just wondered what the difference was. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So this is the weird thing that I don't think at any point that location, whether it's the Governor's Mansion or the uranium field, I don't think that gets attacked at all. I don't really know.
That's just for pulling your resources away, so you guard it, and then you lost a guy, isn't it?
Right. It's a red herring.
That's basically to get you to like same as the tanker canal. I mean, do you ever go there? Because they didn't then.
That's a good point. Yeah, you do see the tanker at the oil platform towards the end of the game.
So if you say right, viewpoint 1, there's nothing there either.
Yeah.
So that's like you say, it is a red herring to get you to expend your resources against.
As Jazz would say, it's a rusty herring.
Yeah. So as you can see, basically the main ones they concentrate on is obviously the oil platform.
Yeah.
JTEC, nuclear plant, shuttle base, and the dinosaur park.
Yeah.
And then the final battle at the pipeline junction with the big hippo that you can't shoot in the face. Which has really bugged me, that did, because if I could have shot him, that'd have all been over with, been done.
You get the RSPCA. You get the RSPCA on your case for cruelty to animals if you do that.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have taken all the oil, would they? Because I'd have been able to shoot the one hiding behind him. So I'm sorry. Yeah. He had to be sort of like sacrificed to save it.
Roundabouts. Yeah, shoot the hippo, save the oil.
Save the oil, because we need that at the moment. Although they have got an engine that run on water now, so
cool, because most of the planet is water. We could do with that.
Yeah. Thanks for popping in, Pains. Good to see you, buddy. We'll have to catch up during the week for a game if you're about.
Cheers, Pains.
Yeah. So it's definitely an interesting game. One I will probably revisit again when I'm at a loose end, possibly.
Yeah, I know it's probably never going to go down in history as one of the great classics, but I loved it as a kid. I played it for hours, and like you say, I sort of figured out the puzzle.
See, I played I've tried to play it since, and that's rock hard to play it now. But I played the Ocean Transformers game, which is the platformery type one,
right,
on Cybertron, where you got your five Autobots or whatever, and you got your Bumblebee, your Jazz, your Hound, Optimus Prime. I can't remember the other one.
So you're telling me there's no Huffer, Pipes, or Puffer?
I'm fairly certain there isn't. Don't hold me to that. I can't remember the other. There's 5 in total. I think you got 5 Autobots.
What's the point?
You definitely got Bumblebee.
Of course.
You got Jazz, Hound. You definitely got Hound and Optimus Prime, but I can't remember who the other one is. It's going to bug me that now, but there you go. I'll remember what it is. But that one was really fiddly because the Autobots could fly on that game, whereas in the comic, depends who you ask. Some could, some couldn't. But
yeah, on the disc version of this game, at the beginning of the game in the intro, it specifies. It says the Decepticons turned into jets and the Autobots turned into cars and trucks. And that was a big thing in the comics as well. So
exactly, because the opening bit when they first leave the Ark is if they drive to where they're all parked up and see that, hang on, that's not actually the cars or the life forms, that's the humans driving them.
The drive-through. They go to the drive-through, don't they? They think there's
that's it. Yeah, and he's saying, hang on, there's no one driving that car. That was what it is.
Yeah. That's just
later on. They implemented the hologram thing to look like there was a driver, didn't they? Yeah. If you remember, they put that in there, but.
That was clever writing, though, to have the Autobots show up at a drive-in movie because they think that all the cars are a group of Earth people, and then they discover
watching the film.
Yeah, the Earth people are the little fleshy bugs inside the cars. And
then the Decepticons come down and attack them at the drive-through. You know what I mean? They're driving. So that's. But that's that was obviously in the certain cartoons they could fly, if you remember.
Yeah.
And then other times he had to say, "Sideswipe, give me your backpack, so I can then chase after."
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, because I did find that weird. Much as I loved the cartoon,
Because I believe the oil platform, they flew to the oil platform.
Yeah, exactly. They
and then after that, you didn't see him fly again. And then Optimus Prime, when he was going to chase the Decepticon ship, he had to borrow Sideswipe's backpack to get up there.
I don't know if it's because he needed more power or more speed or something, but yeah, as a kid, it was kind of weird to see the Autobots flying because in the comic they didn't. And so when you're watching the cartoon, and like you said, they fly to the oil platform. When Huffer gets extricated from the wreckage, the debris in the sea, he then flies. Trailbreaker flies, and even in the episode where Optimus Prime uses the rocket pack, I think, if I remember correctly, Ironhide was flying during that episode too. I think.
And he had a cannon on his back.
Yeah, exactly. I thought that was cool the way they used the cannon from the little vehicle that he rides around on. They put that cannon on his back. I thought that was pretty neat. But yeah, I think Optimus he must have needed more power or more speed or something, because otherwise he could have just flown after it at any time. But yeah, in the comics they did not fly.
No, not at all.
Cool.
Only the aerial bots or someone like that who was actually a jet or something.
Yeah.
And then
the thing, when the Michael Bay film came out, that first one, I know those films went a bit bonkers towards the end, but the first one I thought was really good. But I found it strange that you had that straight away, right from the very beginning, the Decepticons were turning into land vehicles, so police cars and things like that. Because the story I was used to, and I know they can't tailor everything to my generation, but the story I was used to was that the Autobots were on the ground and the Decepticons were in the air. So for them to start out with Decepticons on the ground felt very strange to me. But
yeah, so
it was a good film.
I mean, that was, but obviously in the comic, they got given their forms by the Ark.
Yeah.
When they repaired them, because they sent out a satellite-y thing which scanned everything and said, right, that's good for Decepticons and planes and communication devices, which is what they were. And then, this is vehicles for the Autobots, so that was obviously what they did. So, but obviously in the movie, he done it so they scan it themselves and turn it into what they like.
Yeah.
Because that was obviously a plot device, wasn't it? So
yeah, it's like the new one. I enjoyed the new film, The Rise of the Beast, but in that you've got Mirage, and when he's introduced, he changes into 3 or 4 different vehicles straight away, and you kind of think, well, what. That kind of takes something away from the storytelling, whereas they had one, the original characters had one disguise, unless they were a triple changer. They just had the one disguise. But in the movie version, the live action movie version, I should say, they could basically change into anything they want to, which is, it's kind of bizarre, What's to stop them from turning into a cigarette packet or something like that, Then you really would
be a hell of a lot of shrinking there. I mean, that's bad enough with the Megatron gun scenario.
Yeah, but you really would be a robot in disguise. Then if you could turn into anything, turn into a tree, turn into a rock, you could hide anywhere. Whereas when they only had the one alternate form, I think that gave you greater story possibilities.
Because they got limitations on them. They
exactly
can't,
that. Exactly.
They can't change to whatever suits. Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, Soundwave was obviously always a ghetto blaster, whatever you want to call it at the time.
Yeah.
Ravage, if you remember in the comic, he used to sneak around. No one could see him or detect him. And then he'd jump. And he went into the first nuclear base they tore apart. He actually then jumped into the tape recorder that he was recording into, talking about the nuclear power plant, how much output it had, this, that, and the other. Then he relayed that back to obviously Megatron and said, look, this is what we want. We've got to pinch all the gear from here,
Yeah.
That was, like you say, that was the plot, that's what it was. They used them to their benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah. But this, like I say, this game is first time. I mean, it's quite involved. And yes, it's got its clunkiness where you're got to go back to the map so you can move another Autobot or change to another Autobot. I mean, if you'd have done that on the fly, that would have saved you a load of time. But I suppose that was simpler times then, I guess. Games are a lot simpler. But yeah, do you remember though? I need to find it, but I can't even find anywhere on the internet for it. I'm fairly certain I had a Transformers game, and I can't remember who done it, but I bought it on tape. I'll have to have a look in my cassette case of my games up in the loft.
Sure.
But I can't find what it is. But I'm pretty sure that was a seasonal one.
All right.
That was a Christmas. That weren't a very big game. That was just sort of a Christmas version, a Transformers battle thing or something like that. It was sort of a platformy type thing.
All right.
But that was obviously. But I'm pretty sure that was a Christmas Transformers Save something like that.
If you find it, let's do this again.
Yeah, I do need to try and find it because I'm pretty certain, because you used to get all games like that.
Yeah.
Where I think I got like you had a Yogi's Adventure or something, but then you got Yogi's Christmas or something.
Right.
And then there'd be like a Christmas version of a game. I thought they were brilliant because that was like getting you really all into the mood for Christmas, wasn't it? You were playing a Christmas version, or like Hanna-Barbera cartoon, sort of like Christmas one or something like that, comic capers or something. That was just, but he did a Christmas version of things where that might have been on one of the magazines.
Yes, yeah, because back in the 80s, you'd buy
because you always used to get the demos and stuff, didn't you? The demo tapes, and
you have a cassette sellotape to the front of your magazine.
Zap 64 used to always have like a cassette on it, didn't it? That might be one of them. Cool. I'll have to have a look.
Yeah, if you can find it, give me a shout.
But I can't find anything about it on the internet. I've looked, scoured the Google and everything, but I can't find it.
Well, it's hard enough finding information about this game on the internet, because I wanted to do a little research before we came on, because it's been like decades since I played it. I wanted to read up on it a little bit, and so I guess some games just fall through the cracks, you know.
I guess they must do, yes. Unfortunately, but I say, for what it is, that was quite a involved game. Let's be honest. If as a kid, that would have kept you busy for quite some time trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I think that's why my parents loved it when I played it, because I'd be gone for hours trying to figure it out.
Yeah, usual way. Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you were probably the same as me, where playing a computer game was something you only did when the weather was rubbish.
Yeah, yeah.
You know,
that's the trouble nowadays. I think kids don't play outside enough.
No, because obviously I'd always be outside, probably pretending to be a transformer and with your friends and stuff, that sort of business.
Sticks for guns.
Yeah, and then if that's sort of the heavens opened or something like that, or that was like hailing or something like that, where your mum didn't want you to be out, she'd be like, "So you're not going out in that." You'd then say, "Can my friend come around so we can play this then?" And that'd be when you'd play it, you know.
Yeah.
Which is probably why. Hang on a sec.
What's he up to, ladies and gentlemen? What's he up to? What have we got?
Which version Commodore 64 did you have?
The all beige one. I think it was the later one.
Did you? Was it the bread box?
No, it was the bread box one with the one with the brown keys. Like
yes, brown F keys, I think, and then you had the black keyboard.
Yeah, I just had R1 was just the all beige one. It was more, the design was more sleek, I think, and the keys weren't as deep as the other one. The keys on the other one were like bricks, you know, you had to push them down. But yeah, the one we had, it was a much sleeker design.
That one.
There's that bad boy.
Yeah, so that's the C64C, I believe they call that.
Right.
So yeah, so that was obviously the one I've got, which, as I said, I bought secondhand. So yeah, that was what I got. But the original one was obviously what I think they call it, the bread box or bread bin, something like that, because that was because of the shape of it, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, the Commodore 16 was the same shape as that, same shell, but black.
All right. Okay.
So the shell was black and the keys were like a light grey.
And they did the 128 as well, didn't they?
And then the 128 they did, which was I'm assuming that was the same shell again, because they didn't bother changing the shell. They used it for everything.
Yeah.
To save cost. But
that makes sense.
And I think the 128 was just in response to the Spectrum.
Yeah.
Which they come out with obviously a 48, and then they went straight to a 128.
Yeah.
So then obviously they thought, well, we've got 64, so we need to bring ours up to 128 as well. So obviously they then done that. But you normally used to find the games would play on the 64 and 128.
Yeah.
And we'd only have extra features on the 128 on certain games or something like that.
Yeah, it actually says that on the top of the inlay card here. It'll say on there Commodore 64 /
and 128. Yeah. So they would play for both. So I mean, I had my Amiga when I got my Amiga after that. I had the Switch, which nowadays is pathetic, but obviously I had the Amiga 500, which had 512 kilobytes of RAM, which is pitiful by today's standards, obviously.
But at the time, wow. Yeah.
And then I had a Switch, which would switch it up to 1024, which would be 1 meg.
Cool.
That was obviously, they'd put an extra card in it. The one I bought, they'd bought the card, put the extra.
I remember when I was a kid, there was some kids on the school bus once arguing about this because of one of these guys was saying, "Oh, I've he's got some kind of, he's adapted his computer somehow. He's going, I've got a full meg, you haven't, rah, 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 rah." And these kids were arguing over it. I was like, no, let them have their fight. I'm going to stay out of it.
Well, that's it. Yeah, you're better off out of it, aren't you? Let's be honest.
Kids, huh?
Yeah. So obviously with that, I actually had certain games would only play on the half meg though.
Right.
If you had it switched to the 1 meg all the time, certain games wouldn't load, and that'd say no, failed or something like that. But then you switched it back to half. Certain ones, because they were obviously optimized for that, they'd only play on the half meg.
Yeah.
But I mean, the Amiga, I never got the 1200. I did want the 1200 afterwards, but I never got the 1200, which obviously later was converted to a console as well. Similar thing with the C64C, where you got the Amiga CD32, was basically a console version of the Amiga 1200.
Yeah, yeah.
So with a CD drive. But you could do the same thing with the Amiga 1200 and have a CD drive and that played games, I believe. I'm not sure about that, but I'm pretty sure you probably could.
Yeah, I think so.
Because that wasn't an Amiga 1200 underneath without a keyboard.
Yeah.
But yeah, good times. You don't get nothing like that now.
No. Never mind. The good old days.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you coming on and talking about like one of your favourite games and putting me through hell trying to play it.
Sorry, I know it's a weird game, but honestly, if anybody watching this, if you play it a few times, you start to get the hang of it.
Yeah,
I always got a kick out of it. Maybe you will too. Who knows?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the end of that, it was attached to the toy line that you obviously really liked, so that was all it took, wasn't it? Really, you just have anything Transformers. I mean, I've still got things attached to Transformers, like sketchbooks, notebooks, all sorts, just because they got Transformers on them.
Yeah, it's huge, wasn't it?
Yeah. But so I appreciate you coming on and put me through hell through that game. And like I say, by all means, if you think of any other games that obviously stand out to you, what you played as a kid, obviously, or anything like that stands out, come back on with another episode and we can play through another one.
Cool.
I'll try and do a little bit more research probably next time to obviously make sure I'll be a bit better at it.
If you find that Transformers game, the Christmas one, give me a shout. That'd be
I'm going to find. I mean, I've got some tapes up there, and I've got a box of tapes.
Cool.
Which I got Zap 64 demo tapes. I might be one of them because obviously there's some classics what they brought. They did specifically on there, which is obviously you couldn't buy. That's why I can't find it anywhere. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a Christmas one. Really weird. Because do you remember the comic where they had Optimus Prime dressed as Santa? Do you remember that one?
Yeah, with the beard and everything.
Yeah, that did make me chuckle. That.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah. But thanks for anyone who tuned in, and if you're watching it on the replay, thanks for giving it a watch. And we shall see you on the next one.
Have you got anything coming up, mate?
Personally, yes, I've got. I'm guesting on Stu's channel tomorrow, Universal Toy Collector, for his charity 24-hour live stream, which is going on right now. So if you have tuned in, obviously fairly recently to this, and you're not watching it on the replay, obviously that's this weekend is a 24-hour live stream on Universal Toy Collector stream, obviously in aid of the Give Kids the World Village.
Cool.
Trying to raise some money for those. It's a great charity, and hopefully he does really well there. Obviously, I'll be guesting on there tomorrow between the hours of 11 and 1. Monday night, I have Gaming Memories episode 12 with Tez from Roland's Reviews.
Cool.
And the game is not a Spectrum game, and I shocked everyone that it isn't. But it's actually playing Gunstar Heroes on the Mega Drive.
Cool.
So there you go. That's on Monday. Tuesday night will be Pacific Drive on the PS5.
Right.
And Thursday will be Mass Effect PS5, continuing on that. So
busy boy.
Busy week this week, yeah. So what about yourself? You got anything coming up on the Clubhouse that you're guesting on?
Yep, you can always find me on Zazel's Clubhouse, where I am the Space Commander.
There you go.
And also,
the link is at the bottom of the screen, as it's been all the time, obviously, for the Clubhouse. So obviously you can tune into that. And
also we've got Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse. I helped Zazel out on that channel too. So yeah, Zazel's Clubhouse and Sergeant Slaughter's Slaughterhouse. And talking of Huffer / Pipes / Puffer.
There you go.
Adam,
that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, Adam up in Canada with his channel Go Figure,
which is as I'm wearing the shirt right now. There you go, Go Figure.
Right.
There you go.
That's right. We have an interesting project coming up. I'm not sure when it's going to happen. It might be a while away as yet. But when I was studying my Huffer figure and my Pipes figure, I realized that, as I said earlier, so much of the back of this figure is the same as the front of this figure. I kind of figured out, wait a minute, surely rather than spending £500 on a tiny little puffer figure, could you modify a Pipes and a Huffer and make your own puffer? So Adam and I are going to be looking at that. So I might end up, touch wood, hopefully with an orange Huffer. I've got the black Road Ranger, but we might end up with a little blue puffer as well. So we'll see how that goes.
Look forward to seeing that.
So yeah, and, remember, head canon is important. So the time and
head canon is important.
Yeah, I think the time and space warp thing works. I think Huffer did survive the movie after all. He was dragged forward in time and turned into Puffer. If Puffer is an actual toy that does exist, therefore he must exist.
There you go. Hashtag Puffer exists.
Yeah.
There you go. All right, thanks for tuning in, people, and we'll see you on the next episode, and obviously Stu's channel tomorrow if you're going to be tuning in at any time of that. There's lots of other YouTuber guests. Tune in, just give them your time. Obviously, give them a watch. Just obviously, he's doing a 24-hour stream, so a great cause. If you can spare anything, please donate, and we'll see you on the next one. That is all.